In the mid-1970s, Fleetwood Mac propelled Christine McVie to the pinnacle of music, a level of success that any artist or singer has ever dreamed of. From fame and fortune to timeless hits like Don't Stop, You Make Loving Fun, and Songbird, she captured the hearts of millions. However, behind those dazzling stage lights lay a truth that few dared to mention. From a childhood filled with pain to a lonely passing, it seemed that she never truly found lasting happiness. Why did she and John McVie break up? And why did Fleetwood Mac fall apart in 1987, even though they were still at the peak of their career? What was really happening behind the scenes? Stay with us and join us in uncovering the truth in today's video, while also taking a look at some rare photos of her and Fleetwood Mac. Christine McVie, born on July 12, 1943, in the village of Booth in the Lake District of England, grew up in a deeply artistic family. Her father, Cyril Percy Absel Perfect, was a concert violinist and a music lecturer at St. Peter's College of Education. Her mother, Beatrice Edith Maud, was a psychic and a faith healer. This contrast created two parallel influences throughout Christine's childhood. She was exposed to music from a very young age. By the time she was 4 years old, she had already mastered the piano keys. However, despite this early start, Christine did not fully commit herself to music. It was not until she was 11 years old when she met a friend of her brother, a local musician who reignited her interest, that she truly began formal training in classical music. A major turning point came when her brother brought home a music book by Fats Domino. The raw and free-spirited rock and roll melodies immediately captivated Christine, leading her to abandon Chopin and pursue the powerful, energetic rhythms of a new era. After graduating from high school, she enrolled at Moseley School of Art in Birmingham, where visual art nearly pulled her completely away from music. Fate, however, had other plans. It was there that a true opportunity emerged when she met Stan Webb and Andy Sylvester, two young musicians active in the band Sounds of Blue. They recognized Christine's natural sense of rhythm and musical intuition, and invited her to join the band as a bass player. Christine accepted without hesitation. This marked the first time she stepped onto the stage as a musician rather than an artist. However, the band broke up before Christine could graduate. Instead of giving up, she made a bold decision. She moved to London with the hope of finding opportunities and changing her life. Life in London, however, was far from easy. She received no support from her family or relatives and took on various odd jobs simply to survive. By 1967, an unexpected phone call from her former bandmates Stan Webb and Andy Sylvester changed her path once again. They were forming a new blues rock band called Chicken Shack. This time, Christine did not just play the piano, she became the lead vocalist and the creative soul of the group. The song I'd Rather Go Blind, a cover that brought Chicken Shack international attention, marked Christine McVie's musical debut to the world. Her voice, emotional and yearning, infused with blues depth and emotional maturity, made one thing clear. A musical star had emerged, but the road ahead would not be smooth. Christine McVie was often described as the gentle soul of British blues rock. This was not an empty compliment. In 1969, she was named Best Female Singer in Britain by Melody Maker, one of the most prestigious honors of that era. It was a fitting recognition for her quiet dedication and extraordinary talent. In just a few short years, Christine McVie had traveled a remarkable journey, from an unknown art student studying sculpture to one of the most respected female blues vocalists in England. Yet, just as her career was rising, she faced a deeply personal choice. In 1968, Christine married John McVie, the bassist of Fleetwood Mac. Their relationship unfolded while both were constantly touring with different bands. Life on the road, clashing schedules, and physical distance slowly pulled them apart. Christine understood that if they continued on separate paths, she could preserve her spotlight but lose her life partner. As a result, in 1969, Christine decided to leave Chicken Shack. It was not a departure driven by bitterness or disappointment, but a decision that reflected Christine's true nature: quiet, emotional, and placing family above fame. Few artists at that time were willing to step back at the height of their careers, but Christine was always different. She did not chase the spotlight. She followed inner balance. In truth, Christine never left music behind. Even while she was still with Chicken Shack, she was an avid fan of Fleetwood Mac during the Peter Green era. The two bands frequently crossed paths while touring and were both signed to Blue Horizon. Christine began collaborating with Fleetwood Mac as a session musician, playing piano on the album Mr. Wonderful. She also contributed uncredited recordings to Kiln House and even designed artwork for the album cover, demonstrating that her role extended beyond music into a broader artistic vision. When Peter Green left Fleetwood Mac, the band entered a serious crisis. They lost their creative core, their sound became fragmented, and direction was unclear. Fleetwood Mac needed someone who could fill the emotional void, a musician refined enough to connect the remaining pieces. Christine McVie, with her calm presence and emotional depth, was invited to join the band. In 1970, Christine officially joined Fleetwood Mac as the keyboardist. Her arrival changed everything. From a band on the brink of collapse, Fleetwood Mac gradually regained its balance. Years later, Mick Fleetwood would say, "Christine was the glue that held the band together. She made our sound beautiful." The album Future Games marked Christine's first appearance as a full member and also opened the door to collaboration with Bob Welch. Fleetwood Mac's music at this time became softer and more emotional, less sharp, but far deeper. In 1974, the band relocated to California. After the album Heroes Are Hard to Find, Bob Welch departed, and Fleetwood Mac entered a new chapter when Stevie Nicks and Lindsey Buckingham joined. For the first time, the band featured two female singer-songwriters. Christine and Stevie quickly realized that their voices blended in a strangely beautiful way, a perfect balance between gentleness and wildness. On the album Fleetwood Mac, Christine wrote and sang lead on 4 key tracks. Among them, Over My Head and Say You Love Me both reached the Billboard Top 20, allowing Fleetwood Mac to truly conquer the American market for the first time. From a blues musician behind the piano, Christine McVie became the emotional heart of one of the greatest bands in rock history. In 1976, during long and relentless tours, Christine developed a romantic relationship with Curry Grant, the band's lighting director. It was not a loud or flashy affair, but a rare private refuge amid packed arenas, stage lights, and endless cheers. That relationship inspired Christine to write You Make Loving Fun, a song filled with the simple joy of love, despite the quiet fractures forming in her personal life. When the album Rumors was released in 1977, no one expected it to become one of the greatest albums in the history of popular music. You Make Loving Fun quickly entered the top 10, carrying a rare sense of brightness within an album born from heartbreak, betrayal, and pain. On that same album, Christine also left a profound mark with Don't Stop, a message filled with hope, as if she were reminding herself and those around her that tomorrow could still be better than today. The song reached the top 5 in the United States and became one of Fleetwood Mac's most iconic tracks. Yet perhaps Christine's most honest and intimate moment on Rumors was Songbird. This slow ballad finds her sitting alone at the piano, her unadorned voice filling a quiet space, accompanied only by Lindsey Buckingham's gentle acoustic guitar. It was not a commercial hit in the traditional sense, but a whispered confession, a personal reflection without any glamorous shell. However, the massive success of Rumors could not save the marriage between Christine and John McVie. By the end of the tour, they officially divorced, a sad but unsurprising conclusion after years of strain. Christine continued forward, carrying a wounded heart but remaining steadfast in her devotion to music. In 1979, Fleetwood Mac released the double studio album Tusk. Compared to Rumors, Tusk was bolder and more challenging, abandoning the familiar pop formula. Christine's song Think About Me reached the US Top 20, but the album clearly could not recreate the commercial earthquake of Rumors. After the Tusk tour, the band took a break, as each member seemed to need space to breathe after years of pressure and conflict. In 1981, Fleetwood Mac reunited and traveled to Chateau d'Hérouville in France to record the album Mirage. The atmosphere this time was gentler and more nostalgic, as if the band were trying to rediscover a sense of balance they had lost. Released in 1982, Mirage returned Fleetwood Mac to the #1 position on the US charts. On this album, Christine McVie co-wrote Hold Me, a top 5 hit that hid a painful love story beneath its catchy melody. The song was inspired by her complex and emotionally damaging relationship with Dennis Wilson of the Beach Boys. Like many relationships in Christine's life, it was both passionate and cruel, leaving a lingering sadness concealed beneath a polished pop surface. Another song of hers on the album, Love in Store, became the 3rd US single and reached #22. Not a breakout hit, but enough to reaffirm Christine's enduring place within the band. In 1984, Christine released her second solo album titled Christine McVie. This was a deeply personal work, one in which she made no effort to chase trends, choosing instead honesty in emotion and personal taste. Got a Hold on Me became a major success, reaching the US Top 10 and topping several other charts, while Love Will Show Us How also achieved notable chart positions. Christine once said that the album might not be a bold experiment, but it was music she genuinely enjoyed listening to herself. A simple statement, yet one filled with dignity from an artist who had lived through enough highs and lows. Christine's personal life gradually became more stable when she married keyboardist Eddie Quintella in 1986. They were not only husband and wife, but also creative partners, co-writing many songs for Fleetwood Mac in the years that followed. In 1987, Christine officially rejoined the band to record Tango in the Night, the group's most successful studio album since Rumors. Little Lies, co-written with Quintella, became the album's biggest hit, while Everywhere reached #4 in the United Kingdom and entered the US Top 20. These songs proved that Christine still possessed a refined sense for pop songwriting, emotionally rich yet unmistakably modern. In 1990, when Lindsey Buckingham left the group, Fleetwood Mac continued with the album Behind the Mask. The album was certified gold in the United States and platinum in the United Kingdom. Christine's Save Me reached the US Top 40, while Sky's the Limit became a hit on the adult contemporary charts. Yet it was during this period that Christine faced a profound personal loss. Her father passed away in 1990, while she was on tour for Behind the Mask. The shock led her to decide to stop touring, a choice that clearly reflected who Christine truly was, someone who placed inner life and family above fame and spotlight. Although she no longer toured, Christine McVie remained with Fleetwood Mac as a songwriter and recording artist. She wrote Love Shines for the box set 25 Years, The Chain, and contributed 5 songs to the album Time. By the late 1990s, when Fleetwood Mac reunited with all its key members, the live album The Dance was released and reached #1 on the US charts. Christine returned to the stage, took part in the band's induction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1998, and performed at the Grammy Awards and the Brit Awards. Shortly afterward, she chose to leave Fleetwood Mac, closing a long chapter of her career due to a fear of flying, a very human fear shared by many people. After the enormous success of The Dance in 1997, Christine McVie chose a path very different from what the public expected. While Fleetwood Mac continued to tour and maintain the glow of legend status, Christine quietly stepped away. She returned to England, leaving behind packed stadiums, relentless touring schedules, and the constant scrutiny of the media. For Christine, this was not a disappearance, but a return. A return to family, to ordinary life, and to herself after decades spent in the unceasing rhythm of music. In 2000, Christine appeared in public on a rare occasion when she received an honorary doctorate in music from University of Greenwich. It was a formal recognition of her immense contributions, but it did not lead to any loud comeback. Not long after, her marriage to Eddie Quintella also came to an end, marking the close of a chapter in both her personal and creative life. In the early years of the new century, Christine lived quietly, almost detached from the flow of contemporary pop music. In a 2004 interview, she admitted that she no longer listened to much pop music, instead finding peace in classical melodies on Classic FM. A small detail that spoke volumes about the inner transformation of an artist who had once stood at the center of popular music. Even though she was no longer an active member of Fleetwood Mac, Christine maintained a quiet connection with the band. She participated as a session musician on Say You Will, the band's final studio album of that era. In December of the same year, she appeared in the audience in London to watch the band's final performance in the United Kingdom. But she did not step onto the stage. That silent presence felt like a gentle farewell. No words, no spotlight. Also in 2003, Christine released the solo album In the Meantime, a work more mature, subdued, and private than anything she had done before. With no chart-driven hits, the album felt like a musical diary, written for herself. In the years that followed, she continued to be honored for her legacy. In 2006, she received the Gold Badge of Merit from the Ivors Academy, and in the same year, she was ranked among the greatest living songwriters. Even so, Christine remained firm in her decision not to return to the stage. She did not take part in Fleetwood Mac tours in 2009 or 2012. Stevie Nicks later admitted that while everyone loved Christine and wished for her return, they understood that she had to live life on her own terms. In 2013, news that Christine was recording a new solo album after 9 years away raised hopes among fans. That album, however, was never released. In 2022, the music world fell silent when Christine McVie passed away in a hospital after suffering a stroke at the age of 79. In her final days, she was also quietly battling metastatic cancer, a silent struggle that reflected the way Christine had lived for many years. Private, composed, and without spectacle. Her passing did not generate sensational headlines, but it left a profound emptiness in the hearts of music lovers around the world. After Christine's death, Fleetwood Mac released a deeply emotional statement, calling her the best musician anyone could ever have in their band, and the best friend anyone could ever have in their life. This was not merely a tribute to a colleague, but an acknowledgement of a person who brought balance, warmth, and kindness to a group long known for its conflicts and turbulence. For Stevie Nicks, Christine was not just a musical partner, but a soulmate. Christine was my best friend in the whole world. A short sentence, yet powerful enough to capture a friendship that spanned decades, transcending fame, distance, and time. When Christine passed away, it was not only Fleetwood Mac that lost a part of its soul, but an entire generation of listeners that lost a gentle voice that had accompanied them through the most meaningful years of their lives. Christine McVie may have left this world, but her music has not. The melodies she left behind continue to resonate, to comfort, and to remind us that gentleness carries its own enduring strength. If a song by Christine has ever touched you, please leave a comment as a quiet thank you. And do not forget to like and subscribe so we can continue sharing the stories of legends together.